Trick or fucking treat. I gotta stop cussing. YouTube doesn't like it anymore. But we're live. It's Monday. It's Wednesday. It's hump day. And this is live. Hopefully everything's working actually. I just screwed up my whole set. So we're live. This is the hump day Q&A extraordinaire. Brought to you by Joshua Ray Farmer. Yours truly. Linda Sessions coming. Spicy comments coming. You guys get in the comment section. I know that you will. And let's have some fun. Let's have a good time. Some fun announcements, a couple of changes, and some things to update you guys on. I also have my nice trusty dusty. Let's make sure the sound's not echoing from multiple places. Is it echoing really bad? Let me know still if this is go here. Let's see here. So hopefully that sounds okay. Is that okay? How about now? Ooh, okay, someone's saying large echo. Give me 1 second. Let's see if this happens. Is this any better? Let's see. Mic check. Mic check. Does that sound fixed to you guys? Is that okay? Sounds like I'm in a box. Let's see. Let's just double check. How does that sound? Does everybody think that sounds all right? I hate to jump off here. It's happened before. How does this sound now? Waiting for some input. Slowly. Actually, you know what I can do? Let's do this. This should be okay. You know what I bet? I think I know what's happening. Does this sound better now? Let's do this real quick. I can look on YouTube. I can watch myself. Let's hear it. Waiting for some input. Oh, that sounds really terrible. Actually, what I can do? Let's do this. Nope. Yeah, I think this is what? You know what? I know what it is. Give me 1 second. This is what happens when you move shit around. I know exactly what's happening. You're picking up the wrong speakers. Guys, give me 1 second. Don't go anywhere. I won't give you the behind the scenes, but don't leave. Would you look at that? What do you know? He's back. Back a little too loud, but it's working. Let's see here. I don't actually know which mic I'm on. Let's see. Mic number 2. That's right, I'm back. What do you know? Oh, that sounds really bad. I just ruined your guys' day. We should try that all over again. Let's see here. Live streams time to time do have their ups and downs. One of them is technical difficulties. Okay, so let's take a look at this and see how it sounds. I have a really huge delay in my live stream, so I can't see it current. Way better. Let's see here. Live streams time to time do have their that should be better. That should be way better. Okay. So let's take a look. Fucking handled it. Look at that. Okay, on the fly. So what happened was I have a live stream set up. Actually, what happened was I was having a nice cigar. I'm ready to pour myself a nice glass of some said wobbly pop. And I just got carried away. That's the truth. But the truth is actually that behind me, or in front of me, behind the screen that I'm watching you from, so behind you, is a whole set. See that? Little camera trick right there? A whole set built, actually, and it's going to be badass. It's got 4 chairs. It's got 4 mics. If you guys didn't see my Instagram post yesterday, I built some shit out of apparently brake pads. But I built some shit, and it's mic stands for the new podcast setup. It's going to be epic. It is already epic. I need an operator to be able to use it. So for now, you're stuck with me here in this scene. Okay, so in the comment section, guys, thanks for joining me here. That's where this Q&A exists and how I communicate with you guys. Thanks for being on here. Brody, Rochelle, Dambria, Ian, what's up, everybody? Sis, I'm glad you're on here. She's saying she wasn't sure if she was able to make it tonight. You're nursing a bad migraine. That's terrible. Oh, I like this. Damber has been shooting the dad jokes. Geography teacher asked if I could name a country with no R in it, and I said, no way. That's funny. Natalie's here. Lenore, what's up? Ian's good to see you on here all the way from Hawaii. Thank you guys for audio correcting me. It's always nice because honestly, I don't always do the best monitoring. I don't really monitor much. I just go to town. I like what Damber is saying here. I like to add that I think we are all very good looking people on here. Well, of course. What the fuck? We're alive. We're humans. God's creations. We're doing well, looking well, living it up. Hopefully we're all sounding good, looking good, feeling good. Okay, so who else is on here? Let's take a look here. Christy's on here. What's up? Thank you guys for joining me. Thanks for getting in the comment section already. Let's see here. Yes, Christy's saying mic stands. So yesterday I just built some shit. I put on Instagram on the story, and I didn't reveal it. I was just so busy. Sometimes I'm like living second to fucking second. But I didn't have time to show you guys the finished product. I will show you eventually the finished product because it's going to be in one of the videos. This is dangerous around all these electronics. Check out the behind the scenes. Look how dangerous this is with Wobbly Pop. Right here. Brought to you by Joshua Ray Farmer. Pouring very delicately around all these sensitive electronics. Said Wobbly Pop. God, that smells so good. It's been a while. It's been weeks. Oh, that's wonderful. I'm going to savor that for a minute. If you guys are a fan of Angel's Envy, you know what I'm smelling right now. That shit's wonderful. Let's see here. Dambria's saying, anyone know what the heart reaction is for? Does it add points or something? Dambria, I don't know what you're talking about. Why don't you hit it? Why don't you just do it? See what happens. Okay. There is some weird shit happening with my camera tonight too, so hopefully it doesn't wig out too much. But so far it's been a little bit weird. Technical difficulties. Either way.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
I kind of feel like I could just let you guys run this show in the comments. Let's do that. You guys want to run it? You guys want to have this? I'll just be watching you. What do you guys think? Christy saying icy shelves. Are there extra? I'll pay. Shelves. I don't know what you mean. I guess behind me maybe. My new set. You guys haven't seen this set yet. This is actually completely new to you guys. This is my camera angle options, I guess. Anyway, okay, you know what we're going to do? Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get right into the Q&A. We're going to get right into the first responses as of late, as of today. Let's just get right to them. Today's going to be interesting. I will also remind you guys, since there was a bit of an echo, there was a really terrible echo earlier, but if you're on here, there's going to be some really exciting news happening here shortly. I'm going to update you guys with. So if you're not aware, this is episode 49. And with episode 49, next comes 50. And 50 is going to be a bit of a celebration. And I have a surprise for you. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. Okay. Okay. So, we're going to get into the Q&A. Here's the first one coming at you from, I believe, Instagram. Actually, you know how this works, guys. It's not always questions. Sometimes they're statements. So just bear with me. And since you're bearing with me, I might as well get this out of the way after a nice, solid drink. Oh, God, that's good. It's been a while. Oh, that reminds me of a place I drank this last on a beach, on an island, actually, in the middle of a lake. Anyway, let's start it off with Linda. Linda, if you're watching, if you're out there, I got to not just get this out of the way, but I got to mention it to you. If you're watching, just know that you're my favorite. If you're out there somewhere listening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I'm thinking about you. All right, so the first question coming in from Instagram, I don't think is a question, but we'll read it entirely. Can we frame a big picture of Step Brothers? And when you have shows with Sheldon, we can put that up. So I'm assuming you mean a picture of Step Brothers in the background while me and Sheldon have a show. I am totally fucking down. We definitely need to get some ugly sweaters, me and Sheldon. We'll get some ugly sweaters and do, we'll do some episodes. I wish I could show you guys the set right now, but I can't because it's all on the other side. It's flipped. It's on that side of the room. but it's going to be so fucking cool. Ian, you're saying you're coming in Thursday. Either way, man, I'd love to see you. It'd be really cool. Yeah, you got to hit up with your boy. All right, so the next, let's see here. Let me get a sound. I want a sound effect. Give me something good. What's one of my favorites? Here we go, just for fun.
You are fake news.
So the next statement / question for the Q&A tonight is coming from Instagram, and it's Wolf Story Tonight, ? I have a really cool wolf story. I'm going to share it with you guys. I might as well just get to it now since we're here. And then we got quite a few other questions coming in from the other platforms. But I will remind you, as always, you guys, jump in the comments. Jump in the comments and communicate with me. That's why we're here tonight. That's why we're together. That's why we're doing this. Okay, let's see here. Let's do this. All right. So, the wolf story, since A. Astley, I believe is how it's said on there, on Instagram is asking, what's the wolf story? If you guys have heard it before, bear with me. I'm going to summarize it because it's one of my favorite stories, and we have a lot of questions and responses. But just know, in the comment section, you guys can ask me anything. That's what this is for. So here we go. All right. So the wolf story. When I was a kid, I've always been really obsessed with wolves and interested in wolves. And part of the wolf story that, if you've heard this before, will be new to you. This is where it starts. I mentioned this, I think, on the last live, or one of the last lives. And so she wants to hear the full story. So here we go with the full story. When I was just a boy, actually one of my very earliest memories in life, far back as I can remember, I was probably, if I were to guess, I probably was an infant. But I have this memory of sleeping over at somebody's house. It actually might have been my own house. I don't know. I was so little. I just have this vague memory of a poster on a wall, like a werewolf. And it was just black, scary wolf face. And it's essentially just been something that's impacted me forever because it was such a violent but impactful poster that the image stuck with me forever. It's just this dark black wolf face staring straight at me while I was laying in a bunk bed in a room. And I remember having to try to sleep next to it. It was so difficult, but it just stuck with me forever, this vision of a wolf. As far as I know, it could have been a dream. I don't know. I was so young, but it stuck with me forever, this vision. So the wolf story goes, when I turned 11 years old, I moved in with my grandparents in Montana. I moved up north, and I felt like for the first time I was home. I had this really spiritual experience moving to Montana, living out in the woods, living in cabins, living essentially off the land, really, stocking our own food, packing and canning, living a real sort of Wild West, rough country type lifestyle. And it was something, it was to die for. It was like a dream come true. It was like living in a fantasy. The wolf story starts there in Montana. Well, it really starts in that bedroom when I was a little kid with this vision. It feels very personal, actually, to share this, by the way. I hope you guys don't mind. And also, don't mind the camera switching. Shit's wigging out a little. Just bear with me. So what happened was I went outside one morning to go to school, and I had to defrost the truck. And so I started the truck for my grandfather. I was going to. And when I walked outside of our cabin down the steps, which if you were wearing cowboy boots and you've ever walked down a wood cabin steps, you know the sound, the clunking sound. Those were the last things I remember hearing until my life changed forever. I'll try to over dramatize the story just a little, just because it was dramatic in the experience. It might sound very neutral and tame in the storytelling. So here's what happened. I walked down these steps. I remember the sounds of the boots, clacking against the cold wood in the morning. It was kind of a foggy, hazy morning. We walked down the steps and we overlooked this huge circle corral. Well, actually, it was just the regular corral with a barn in the middle and a bunch of horses. And there was no horses around, which is kind of unusual. Usually in the morning, they're ready to be fed and they were out. And it wasn't extremely cold, but you could definitely see your breath in the air. So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I remember the hair standing up on the back of my neck. I was only 12, so, it wasn't that hairy, but I definitely felt chills. And I froze. And I remember feeling like there was something coming from the left of me across my path. And between me and the corral was maybe 20 feet. And to the right would be the truck. Well, I didn't make it to the truck. I just barely made it down the steps. And I saw and looked to the left this figure that was coming my way really quickly. It was very quiet. And I noticed by the time it got in front of me, it was just this nice little sort of dingy looking, it was a fox. It was like a kind of a reddish, a brownish fox, brown fox, red fox. I'm not sure. Fox culture is not my specialty, but this fox ran across my path, which I thought was really fucking cool. It was really amazing, but that's not where it stopped. As the fox, crossed my path and I looked to the right, I remember thinking, oh, that's really cool, a fox. And then it hit me. I wasn't alone. The fox wasn't alone. And I looked to the left and I couldn't even actually look all the way. I froze. I actually never experienced paralysis before until this moment. And usually it's like a life and death scenario where you maybe feel something so paralyzing, but all of a sudden I felt paralyzed and this wolf ran right across my tracks, this huge, dingy, dark, black, gray wolf. And as it ran across my path, again, mind you, I was, 11, 12 years old. This wolf crossed my path and I swear it from the side looked straight over at me with its eyes and like connected with me in a really strange, terrifying, but beautiful way. It was hard to articulate the experience other than the logistics of the experience. It took everything in me to conjure up any words or even the ability to turn around once the wolf was finally out of my view and kept chasing the fox. And I finally got back up in the cabin and I was trying to tell my grandfather what was going on. I was, scared shitless really. And it took a few minutes for me to tell him what was going on. And he finally just realized I couldn't speak. Something outside obviously was wrong. He grabbed his 2.6 shooter pistol 22s, put them on his hip and ran outside. So as he ran outside, of course, this wolf was long gone. He said it was probably nothing. Maybe you're just seeing things, kind of whatever, blew it off. He went and started the truck. I was still very, very shook. And all of a sudden we go to get in the truck and go to school. And I'm like, you go get in the truck first, then open that shit before I go to that truck. Make sure it's running and ready. Pull it up next to the front porch so I can get in because I ain't walking over there. Well, there was this huge boulder that my grandfather had pulled out of the area where he had built a circle corral. This boulder was huge. He pulled it out with a tractor and he landed it right at the edge of his property at the ranch, right where the driveway was. So this boulder was probably the size of like a small Volkswagen Bug or smaller, something like that. A nice boulder. And so I got in the truck. We go to pull out. As we're leaving, I look back and this wolf crawls up on this rock and stares straight at me as I walk, as we drive off. And I obviously was on my way to school that morning. That was the end of the first wolf story and the beginning of my experiences in life with wolves, which have been numerous and very unusual and also very rare considering there's no natural wolves in America, really, at least not anymore, even though they're reintroducing them. Anyway, at the time, it was a very rare occurrence. But we were maybe 7 miles away from the Canadian border, so it wasn't necessarily rare for us. But in America, and as Americans, it's very rare to see wolves. So that's my wolf story. It's my first wolf story. Since somebody on Instagram asked about it, I will give you that story. That story changed my life forever. It made me feel very connected to these wonderful, spiritual, beautiful animals, to God's beautiful earth in such a spiritual way that changed my experience with animals and myself, as well as even Montana in general. It has a special place in my heart, always will, for that very reason. So I connected deeply that day with it. Unfortunately, the story doesn't end there, but I'm not going to share it all with you because there's always more episodes. And if you guys ask again about the other half of the wolf story, I'll be glad to tell you, but we're not going to play it this time. We're going to, we'll share it next time. If somebody asks, I'll be willing to share the second half of the wolf story that happened later on in life at another time. And I have no idea why this camera, by the way, is switching. It's like going from, I don't know if it's actually this screen, but this looks so terrible to this screen. It's wigging out. Okay. Brody Jade saying, wolves must follow you. I remember hearing howling when you asked the universe for it. Yes, I seem to have some sort of weird connection. No doubt in my mind with this animal. Okay. So, yes, Christy, you're correct. It is a bit of a tease, but it's a long story, and I want to get to some of the Q&A and respond to you guys. Since I want to respond to you guys, even if you've been on here before, I'm going to do something a little different than I've done in the past. If you're watching right now, actually, let's see how many people are watching. All 11 of you. if you're watching right now, you have to do two things. Otherwise, I'm going to kick you off forever. If you're watching right now, you need to thumbs this up. Give me a thumbs up, right? There's at least 11 of you guys watching, 12. There's 4 thumbs up. We should see easily close to 12. Let's get those thumbs up on this stream. So send that thumbs up, and also message me where you guys are watching from. I would love to know. Are you at home? Are you chilling on the couch? Are you on your phone? Are you at work? What are you doing? Are you camping? Are you at church? What's going on? By the way, No Town Vandals back on here. Thanks for jumping on. It's good to see you again. Let's see here. Let's go. Okay. Yeah. So let's see those thumbs up happen, guys. And let's find out where you guys are watching from. And we'll continue this live episode. By the way, don't forget, ask me anything you want in the comment section. It's the whole point of the Q&A. We don't just have to stick to the script here. Although I'll do my best, of course, to get to everybody's questions. So some of these are statements, so they'll be easy. Oh, by the way, Diana, what's up? Thanks for being on here. It's good to see you. It's party time. Okay, so guys, don't be afraid to ask questions on the live stream as well, even though I'll get to some of these questions and statements as well in the comments that were asked on, that were submitted online. So the first comment coming from Facebook, probably my favorite one. Matter of fact, not only my favorite one, but probably the smartest, most brilliant one. And this is something hard to answer, so I'll just read her statement, and considering it's not a question. It just says handsome. That's it. That's all it says is handsome, and with a heart emoji. I'll take it. I'm hoping she's talking about me, or they, whoever it is talking about me. Natalie Coots is on here saying, I'm home watching on the big screen making tacos. That's awesome. But a little bit jealous, so that's okay. Do I have anything? Nope, that was the wrong one. It was supposed to be this one. I want tacos. Okay, Jennifer just jumped on here. What's up, Jennifer? Thanks for being here. Or at least you were on here and now you're speaking up. I see those thumbs up racking up. I see 7 of them now. That's great. Rochelle saying thumbs up the video, different than in chat. Yeah, so I guess you have to thumb up the actual video if you're watching from YouTube, which you are. Let's see. Melissa is saying she's from lovely little Turlock, California. Very little, but thanks for being on here, Melissa. I appreciate you. Let's find out. Nobody else. I don't know if I mentioned Amanda's on here. What's up, Amanda? She's saying hello. So you guys let me know where you're watching from, how your night's going. Let's get into the comment section. Ask me anything you want, and we'll get to the next ones now. Some of them are statements, so bear with me. The next one, this is good. Here's our first question, or first legitimate question, I guess. How true do you feel this statement is? Quote, unquote, feelings are not facts. Feelings are not facts. How true do you feel this statement is? 100% true. Feelings are not facts. Feelings are how you feel. So if that's what you're saying, is it's a fact that you feel this way, fine. But the way you feel about something is not a fact. I'm sure nobody really disagrees. That's probably a pretty easy one to answer. Okay, let's see here. Diana saying in bed, Fresno, California. In bed, it's like fucking 8 o'clock. Jeez, you old lady. Mom is saying I'm sleepy. I'm sleepy in Oregon City. Okay. So you're telling me how your night's going and where you're from. So that's awesome. Mom, thanks for being on here. You know, I love you. You're wonderful. My favorite. Mom, I hope you're well. I sure love you. Okay. Let's see, 16 people on here now, so we should have way more thumbs up. If you guys are watching the video from your phone especially, you should be able to go to the video while you're watching it and give it a nice thumbs up. That would be great. All right. So anyway, the question was, how true do you feel the statement is? Feelings are not facts. I have a fun little understanding about this cute little question. How true is it that feelings are not facts? Well, it's very true. And I've always thought of feelings as simply just your experience, but literal bearings on reality. Feelings are simply just that. The way you feel about something says nothing about the thing in which you think it does. Like if you feel something about somebody, you feel someone's a bad person, that doesn't mean it's true. It doesn't mean it's wrong. It has zero indicator of truth. Feelings have zero indicators in an accurate way of truth. They just indicate where you stand in regards to a said or given thing. I think feelings are just ways to triangulate your position based off of a truth or a thing. So, for example, are you on which side of the fence you on in regards to thinking something's good or bad? I could talk about that forever, but without context, it gets a little confusing. Lenore saying, I'm from San Jose, so what's up? That's far. Very cool. Not as far as Oregon City, but Amanda's saying do's and don't on tattoo healing. That's a really loaded question, but I'll answer it as simple as I can. Do's and don'ts. Don't do anything to it besides wash it. That's it. So the don'ts are everything besides washing it. And that's the only do. If you could just do that, you're probably doing pretty well. But then also, too, people don't realize that the simplicity of healing is... See the camera switch? That's so weird. Let's see. I wonder if it's this. I hope it just doesn't screw it up. Let's find out here. I don't know what that is. That's very, very strange. So the biggest thing about tattoo healing and aftercare is the health of your tattoo has a lot to do with your health, right? I mean, you're the one healing it. So the healthier you are, the healthier your tattoo will be. A lot of times people have a problem with that because they want to use medications. Imagine that. Americans want to over-medicate and to be the answer to their problems. If you're dehydrated, if you're malnutritioned, if you're stressed out, if you're dirty or you're, let's say, unclean, it sounds biblical. If you are unsanitary, whatever you want to call it, if you don't have good hygiene practices, then that's all going to be problems. So no hustle butter, ointment, cream, tattoo balm is going to help you if all those things are jacked. That's not going to make up for your medications are supposed to be additions to your healing. They're not supposed to be the healing itself. The healing has to do with the body, and the health of the body really determines how well it heals. That's something we overlook all the time because I can't tell people to go home, exercise, eat well, hydrate, get your vitamins, but I can tell them to keep it clean, don't touch it, and leave it alone, and monitor it, make sure it's not in a dirty environment. Okay, so the do's and don'ts of tattoo healing, pretty simple. Keep your dirty hands off of it and just wash it. Everything else is pretty much bad for it, and follow your instructions. You're professional. See, the thing is about tattooers is they're all different. And they're all going to have different, through the years and years of experience I have, my experience healing my tattoos will be different than somebody else's. So it's fun to get other people's opinions. But my opinion is keep it clean, don't touch it, stay healthy, stay safe, stay real. Lenore's on here saying feelings are opinions, I think. I think people's opinions are largely based off their feelings for sure. Natalie's saying exactly feelings are not facts, 100%. Let's just go with that. Brody J is saying laptop camera. Yes, I think that's what it's switching to, and I actually don't know why. I'll figure that out. Ian saying don't rub dirt on it like your coach said to do when you had an open wound. Yeah, dirt is probably not the best thing for it. That's for sure. Man, you guys are really getting in the comment section. This is awesome. Christy is asking, what's all this aqua lotion? I don't know what aqua lotion is, but there is an ointment called Aquaphor. Aquaphor, it's aqua and then Phore, 4, like phone. But Aquaphor is essentially just the same thing as A&D ointments with more natural aloe vera, coconut sort of things inside of it. There's more ingredients in Aquaphor than there would be in something like, obviously, Vaseline is just petroleum jelly. A step up from that is A&D ointment, which is A&D vitamins inside of Vaseline. And then Aquaphor is simply just more, ingredients inside of Vaseline. So it just gets more complex. So you can think of it as Vaseline. You can think of it as A&D, and then Aquaphor being more complex, but it's still Vaseline-based, still petroleum-based, which, by the way, petroleum's bad for your body to have long exposures to. So don't use it for more than a few days. It even says it on the labels. Do not use it for a week. Every day, all day, 3-4 times a day. It's terrible for your skin. So do not do that. Okay. Here we go. This is going to be a good one. This one's going to be a little tricky. I actually might need to grab another drink for this to stay up with you guys. It's been a long day, and I'm trying to stay on my toes. By the way, I installed a fan in here, And as you can tell, it's not getting overly smoky, which is badass because now I have a cigar fan in my room. How do you guys like the background? Isn't this rad? Speaking of the background, I'm going to walk into the background. I'm going to get something for me to drink. So chill for a second. You're going to watch me. I'll be right back. Don't look at my butt. Oh, would you look at that? Beautiful. There we go. That's so wonderful to have. That's so wonderful. That's so cool. I got my own fridge. This is great. I'm just pumped like a little kid. Natalie saying, Joshua, I'd bring you tacos if I knew where you were. The location is private. It's called the Bat Cave. Coordinates are unknown, but I do love tacos. That's so tempting. Let's see. Landy saying, love the display. Thank you. Ian saying he's in a secret laboratory. Live stream at the shop was my last guest appearance. Yeah, that was the last time, and now we are in a undisclosed location. Mom is on here giving us some wisdom, saying feelings are just feelings. They do play a part in my life. I don't make decisions based off my feelings. I also don't deny my feelings. That's wonderful. God, you guys, it should just be me and you, Mom. What's up? This is golden shit. I'm so fucking excited. It's so cool. It's so cool to have such a rad mom. Okay. So, Mom said feelings are just feelings, and they do play a part in my life. Naturally, they are a part of the human experience. But she says she does not make decisions based off of her feelings. And she also says, I don't deny my feelings. So feelings are there meant for you to feel so you can have a nice, wonderful, rich human experience. Vibrant. But they are no indicators of truth, and you should definitely not base your feelings or your life decisions off of them. Sure, there's times if you feel like doing something, do it, but it should never be anything that's, like a serious decision. Definitely don't make permanent decisions based off temporary feelings. That's the thing about feelings, is they're temporary. Emotions are temporary. Jennifer is saying, I just noticed that. Awesome, Josh. Noticed, I'm not sure exactly what you noticed, but I'm waiting to hear. Okay, it's happy. Oh, Landy. Happy early Mother's Day to all the ladies. There we go. That's awesome. Do I have anything cool in here? There we go. To all the mothers out there. To all of the mothers who've done a fine job. That's right. You guys did great. That's it. Some gangster shit. You deserve it. Okay. Let's get to the next question. I've been doing good with these cigars lately. These things are amazing. Gifts to warm the heart. Okay, so this is coming from Facebook as well, and it says, I heard a man say recently that men and women can't be friends. Do you agree? ? Interesting. Anybody that knows me knows that that's probably very possible this person is talking about me saying that. If not, then maybe it genuinely came from somebody else. This is a good question. I would like to start with you guys. A simple yes or no if you want. If you want to explain, fine. But I would love to quickly get some yeses and nos or whatever your opinion is. Do you guys think that men and women can be friends or can't? Do you believe that? Do you think men and women can be friends? And then I will tell you my opinion. Let me see here. I'm going to go ahead and look up just real quick. I love definitions because they just, they whittled things down right down to the core. This is such a silly thing to Google. What is the definition of a friend? So I would love to know what you guys think. Can men and women be friends? Question. Let's get your input. Okay. All right. So Brody J's on here saying nope. Jennifer's saying she just noticed the new background. Thank you. I'm glad you noticed it. I fucking love it. I think this is so cool. It's like a badass spot. Works out really well. And it just matches everything. Just notice. Okay. Melissa's saying 100% yes. So I'm assuming to the guys and girls being friends. Danbury is saying yes, guys and girls can be friends. Ian saying, you and I have actually discussed that during a tattoo session. Lenore says yes, but not if they used to be lovers. Mom says, I have never wanted a man to just be my friend. Mom, God, I'm telling you, we don't need nothing else. We just need Mama on here. She's a smart woman. Christy saying Jack and Jill, Raggedy Ann and Andy. Me, I don't know. We try. Yeah, Jack and Jill. Okay, so you guys are answering yes or no, or give me your input on can men and women be friends. This is a good subject I'd like to stick on for a second. First, I'm going to read the definition. What is a friend? A person whom one knows and with whom one has a bond or mutual affection, typically exclusive of sexual or family relations. So I'm going to read this again. A person whom one knows and with whom one has a bond or mutual affection, typically exclusive of sexual or family relations. So I would say that based off the dictionary, based off Webster's, it's saying typically exclusive of sexual or family relations. So then I would say no. I'll simply say it as no. We can talk about it further if you like, or if you can ask questions if you like. No. To be exclusive of sexual relations between men and women as friends, I just don't think it's real. I think it could be real for women. I think women can be friends with men because they put them in the girlfriend zone or the friend zone. But men are just waiting for some leftovers. You could think he isn't, and women say that all the time. Of course they'll say that, but no, of course he's always hoping for a little extra. And men will disagree. They'll say, no, that's not true. I have girls that are just friends. Yeah. Let's get that late night text from her one night and see if you deny. I'm just saying, I don't think it's appropriate, and I don't think it's true, and I don't think it's real unless it's professional. I just really don't think men and women are actually genuinely speaking in the typical sense. They're not friends. No, I don't agree, especially if you're in a relationship. If men and women are friends, then why do you have to stop talking to your guy friends when you're in a relationship? Also, if men and women can be friends, then why can't you just go out with your friends and not tell your man or your wife or your partner? Why can't you just tell them, hey, I'm going out with my friends? Well, if you have friends that are men and women, you're going to have to explain which friends, aren't you? You're not going to go without them with these said friends. So are they friends? I just don't think they are. I think it's safe to say you have male and female friends, but I just don't think, generally speaking, I don't think men and women make good friends. I don't. Damer said, a friend is someone who you are not sexually attracted to, but like to hang out with on occasion. Jennifer says, yes, men and women can be friends. Let's see. Ian says, from what I've noticed, one side usually wants to bleep the other, not always the man in the friendship. Yeah, it's true. I just don't think you can get exclusive between the sexual tension between men and women if you're friends. You can't just hang out, have some drinks, it be late night, and they're a buddy saying, hey, bro, can I stay the night? I've had too much to drink is different than a girl saying, hey, bro, can I stay the night? I've had too much to drink. It's just not the same thing. Rochelle says, I have plenty of guys I'm friendly with, but I do not have any men in my life that I'll just go have brunch with without my husband or their significant other. Exactly. So friendly is totally fine. That's totally different. And I think that's respectable. And I think that's honorable. So actually, Rochelle, I would say that that's probably a perfect response. Of course, I'm biased to it because of my sister, but I also believe that it's true. No Town Vandal saying 100%. I'm not sure to what. If you want to jump in. Natalie saying, I think men and women can have mutual respect for one another and admiration, but nope. I 100% agree. We're still humans. You know, we could care about each other, be, affectionate towards each other and responsible ways, but as friends, I don't do it. And also, if you're going to be in a relationship, you really want your man saying, oh yeah, I got friends or girls, we hang out, it's fine, it's totally cool. Really? You cool with that? Because I don't think so. I don't think it's the same as you saying that you're friends. It's just not real. Tamer says, ew, if you put it that way. Chrissy says, who says we stop talking to other men? I don't know what that's referring to, but nobody said that. Nobody says you stop talking to other men. If you're in a relationship with a man who wants to be there for you in a stand-up sort of way, he's definitely not going to be okay with that. Lenore says, I can see your point of view. I mean, I get it. People use the word loosely. I don't. People call their husbands and wives, partners. I don't think it's an appropriate word. I don't think friends are appropriate words for male and females. I think friends are appropriate words for people you have no desire to sleep with on either end, and you're of the same sex, and you have each other's backs, and you're there for each other in vulnerable times. That's what friends are for, to be there. You can't rely on that from the opposite sex. You definitely cannot. And why should you have to ditch your friends when you get into a good relationship? You shouldn't have to, because they'd be considered your friends. Hence the reason why men and women don't work out so well that way. See, Christy's saying, I don't think I would explain to a friend or an interest what or who I'm with. Yeah, I'm not exactly following that. I think if you're talking about relationships is one thing, but like, yeah, if you're just being friends with guys, you don't have to tell every guy that you have guy friends. It's up to you, but I just don't think we make good. I don't think we're actually friends. I would say that's the wrong terminology. Diana is saying, I agree they can't. So again, I'm assuming that means you agree that they cannot be friends. And No Town Vandal is also saying you cannot just be friends. I agree. I just don't think it's real. I have homies, I have friends, I have brothers out there that have my back and I have theirs. And I can tell you the dynamic between me and them as opposed to, because they're not related. We're not blood, but we're brothers. And I would consider them my true friend. I do not have women in this life that are that. I have women that are wonderful, that I know that I'm acquaintances with, that I have in a professional environment, but I am not having women, that that have my back and they're my homies and that I can fight in. That's what my homies are for. Denver says, so if a man wants to be a woman's friend, they just want to bang them? ? Is that how men think? Well, I don't know what reality you're living in, but if a man just wants to be a woman's friend, they just want to bang them? ? Well, I'll let you guys answer that. That's being very specific, and my answer would just simply be he wouldn't reject you if you gave him the option, typically. So therefore, yeah, I would say that's not friends. Okay, so Christy's saying, if the right man asked me, I could accommodate. If he allowed me to earn a modest contribution to the family, I don't know exactly what that means, but I get it. Jennifer says, so if I have a guy friend, that means he is into me? No, not necessarily. It's very possible that a guy friend is not into you sexually and you are not into him. I just don't think that it's a realistic experience. I don't think it's common, and I definitely think it's Russian roulette. So that's why I don't consider it, traditionally speaking, friends. That's all. It's absolutely possible that, there's no absolutes, but I would just say it's a gamble that I think if you're friends, then you wouldn't have to change your relationship status with them in any way if you got into a serious relationship, or if they did. If they had to stop talking to you because they got a girlfriend, or you had to stop talking to them because you got a boyfriend, or you got married, then I would say that's not friends. Friends don't do that to each other. Lenore's saying that thinking back when I was with someone and I would unconsciously stop talking to guys, that's appropriate because you want to bring honor to the people you're with and that you love. Jennifer saying, I don't know, Josh. That's totally fine. That's why it's a fun conversation. Damer says, I got to disagree. I have many male friends that are just friends, but there's also a line between a friend and an acquaintance. Damer saying most people get it mixed up. Yeah, well, I'm not necessarily talking about acquaintances, but friends. Desiree saying maybe it's just a rare find. Yeah, I would say it's very rare, for sure. Okay. All right. So let's say men, I would say that on here, do you guys think that single girls would be more likely to say that they could be friends with men than girls in relationships? I bet girls in relationships would have a totally different perspective of male friends as opposed to girls who are not in relationships and their perspective. That would just be my hypothesis. Okay. So let's get to the questions, which, by the way, you guys can keep getting spicy in the comments. I'm totally cool with it. I dig it. I like talking about certain things that I know most people get uncomfortable about because I think we're adults and we should be able to fucking handle it. Okay. Ian, let's see. Let's go for what he's putting out here. He probably was at least into you at some point in time. You guys have developed a relationship that's not sexual in the long run. Women too. I have a friend that I know wishes we were together. It's a unique circumstance. And I think, like I said, we've beaten that horse a few times. Danbury says, usually when you're with someone, you blast it everywhere. I don't exactly know what that means. You mean like in a relationship, you blast it everywhere? LOL. I'm not sure exactly what that means. I would say that's not necessarily always the case. Okay, let's get to the next question. This is a fucking really good one. I should leave this up to you guys to let you debate. Do you think you should ever get back with an ex? Well, yeah, for sure. If they've done you dirty and you just want a little retribution, if you're that kind of person, I wouldn't recommend stooping down, but sometimes it can be fun. Let's be real. We're not always as grown up as we'd like to be. And if someone does you dirty and then wants you back later on and you get to just show them exactly what they missed and then ghost yourself the way they did you, I wouldn't fucking put it past most people. They probably would have a fine time doing it. But should you get back with your ex? I don't know. I'd say that's circumstantial. Everybody's life is unique. But I would say, generally speaking, it's probably a bad idea. That decision was probably made for a good reason. So no, I don't think you should. I think you should live the life that is calling you forward, not the life that's pulling you backwards. Another good question. This is actually a really fun one. I like this one. What is your most prized possession? My first answer, that was perfect. You see that? Right into the ashtray. My first answer would be my guitar. My guitar is my most prized possession, I would say. If not my guitar, it's if I had to get rid of all things and only keep one physical thing other than clothes, hopefully. That's for skinny dipping. You guys know I love that shit. Prized possession. What is your most prized possession? I'm going to answer it, but you guys should answer too in the comments. Since we're here, since we're having good fun, you should answer this too. What is your most prized possession? That's a serious question. Mine would be an urn. I'll just leave it there. I have this very tiny urn and it's very personal and I keep it with me most places. It sleeps next to me. It goes on my trips with me and it's always bedside and, it's very near and dear to me and I will keep it forever. So that is that. If I had to keep one possession, I definitely wouldn't be able to get rid of that. Okay. Let's see here. Natalie's saying girls in relationships should not share their emotions with a man that's not theirs. I fucking agree. I think that's incredibly intelligent and very fucking smart. I think you absolutely have it right. Girls in relationships should not share their emotions with a man that's not theirs. 100%. That's incredibly important, and most people fuck that shit up. Let's see. Okay. Most prized possession. You guys got to answer that before we go on too far. I would love to hear. Natalie's on here. What's up, Natalie? Thanks for joining us. And thank you for recognizing the bar. I appreciate it. It was a lot of hard work. I did build it myself, actually, if you guys don't mind. Just for a moment, let's let that revel in the background. It is actually really fucking nice, and I love it. Mom, good answer. Mom is saying her most prized possession is my baby's 6-month pictures that I've always had hanging on my wall. My big old alien head up on Mama's wall. Yep, I'm glad that you said that. Okay. No Town Vandal saying my dad gave me this motorcycle before he passed. It would definitely be that. Legitimate. Dig it. Very, very cool. God, I need to get on the sound effects.
That's what she said.
Okay, let's see here. Oh, that's really cool. Christy says my prized possession is my red crochet hook from my grandmother. That's awesome. 5.25. I'm assuming that's a size. Don't know anything about crocheting. That's really cool. Diana says, would be my father's 52 Chevy I inherited and plan to restore in his honor. That's amazing. It's really, really cool. Natalie's saying my most prized possession is an old King James Bible, a gift from a deceased mom. That's wonderful, actually. I think that's really cool. King James happens to be one of my favorites just because of its sort of poetic nature to it. It's beautiful. The old King James Bibles, the originals, one thing I love about them, actually, is that they used to admit that they took God's name out, if you guys didn't know already. And I think that I think that it's long been forgotten now, but it used to disclose that God's name has been removed and replaced with the word capital Lord. So if you see Lord, sometimes it's in reference to lots of different people, mostly Jesus, but other people too. But where it says Lord in capital, it signifies that King James decided to take the word God's name out and replace it with that. But now instead of capitalize, he assured that he would capitalize Lord anywhere they took God's name out. And that was the originals of the King James. But now we don't do that. We just lowercased it, and it's now confused with Jesus and God. So that gets very confusing to people now, unfortunately. Okay, let's see some of these responses. You guys are getting in here. I appreciate it. Thank you. This is awesome. I actually like, maybe it's this. Is it this? That was weird. I did it again. Ian saying, probably my pinball machines or my memories. Not really a possession, but I prize them over everything. I would say everybody probably agrees there's memories we have that are worth more than anything we own. But the question wasn't that. It's what's your most prized possession? Danbury says, my prized possession is a blanket my great-grandmother made me. It's really fucking cool. Jennifer is saying, I try not to get attached to things. That's good. That's definitely one way to do it. And I feel you. I'm the same way. Try not to get attached to things. But they're still, I really enjoy the value that sometimes things can bring because they stand as reminders for memories and experiences. And it can be very visceral. I think statements and statement pieces and anchors in the physical world are very, very good and useful and healthy. Lenore is saying, talk to me in your sexy Linda voice. Lenore, you know what? If you stay tuned long enough, you will hear the sexy Linda voice 100%. Let's see here. Melissa says, most prized possession, a rosary my grandmother gave me before she passed. It goes everywhere with me. I love that. That's wonderful. This is doing it. This is so weird. This is flashing, and I literally have no idea why. There's like a weird, don't know what it is. Let's see. What if it's this thing here? I wonder. Let's find out. Hopefully this doesn't screw up everything. Oh, we did it. Okay. Let's leave it there. Let's see if it stops doing it. If not, we might have to crack something. Melissa, thank you for your input. I appreciate that. I like when you guys share sentimental shit. It's cool. Rochelle's saying, my most prized possession is my Grayson monkey from great grandma and at his baby shower. And of course, my 2 urns. I love it. That's wonderful. Gosh. Why? Ooh, maybe this is it. I think I found it. Sorry guys if this screws it all up, but I think I found the culprit here. Okay. Apologize. Thank you for sharing that, Rochelle. Appreciate you. Love you. Desiree said, kids aside, everything in my box of lifetime memorabilia, priceless memories that serve me better than my own memory as time goes on. Legitimate. Love that answer. That's fucking rad. Because that's exactly it. That's what things should do, is serve to anchor real memories and experiences we've had. And to serve as those anchors is a very valuable thing. The possession itself is not the thing, is it? It's always the thing it's in which it's related to. I mean, I have possessions that you would look at it and think nothing of, and when I die, it will probably just get thrown away because I have no sentimental attachment to anybody besides me, and I think that's wonderful. Brody's saying, is that angle the laptop camera? Yes, it is. It's terrible. It's the worst camera, and I think I figured out what it is. Some of the cables. I've been fucking everything up in here. I've been moving shit around, so it's getting a little discombobbled in here. Let's see here. Christy saying,
Give me your fucking money!
Dambria saying, I try and tell myself you can't take it with you. You can't take anything with you. Nothing. That doesn't discount obviously what we have, but you definitely cannot. Lenore says, I stay with you to the end. Legit. Lenore, you know what? Actually, I got nothing. I want to hit all these really fucked up ones.
Yes, Daddy.
Teacher asked me how I view lesbian relationships.
Ding, ding, ding! What do we have for her, Johnny?
Okay. Thank you guys so very much for sharing that with me. I appreciate it. All right. Next question. Statement. P.S. I love watching your ideas come to life. That's it. P.S. I love watching your ideas come to life. You know, I actually hear that quite a bit from people and I appreciate it because it's really cool. It's really cool when I have tattoo customers for years, and they tell me, man, 10 years ago you talked about this, and now it's a reality. It's so cool to see you do that. Same with people when I'm on a business idea or something I want to create, like the studio. This studio is something I've been wanting for a really long time. I've been working out of such small spaces that now I have a dedicated spot to it. And I've had a lot of people be like, man, it's so cool to see you actually doing it. And once it was an idea, now it's reality. And that's really fucking cool. Okay, Jennifer's saying, well, I do have some china that my grandfather sent to my grandmother when he was stationed overseas during the Korean War. I feel very honored and do treasure it. That's awesome. Dabria, this one's so good. You're right. This one's like, and you fucking know, you watch, huh? I see.
You sober now?
No, yeah.
That's so good. Mom's saying, is it true you do not inhale a cigar? Some people do. I don't. It's such pure form of tobacco leaves rolled by hand in such a fine way that you don't need to inhale it. It already gets absorbed into your bloodstream through your mouth. The smoke isn't necessarily what you're looking for. It's the tobacco, so it's not like a cigarette. No. Some people do inhale it though. It's pretty fucking wild. Lenore says she loves this one the most, and I agree.
Give me your fucking money!
Okay, so let's get to the next one here. By the way, I liked the one that asked, do you think you should ever get back with an ex? Fuck, who says yes to that? All right, next one. All right. So this is a good question in relationship to art and tattooing. Is it good to know color theory when it comes to tattooing? It's wonderful to know. So color theory, if you guys know what that is, some of you I'm sure do. Most of you understand the color theory or the color wheel or complement of colors. Opposing sides of the wheel are complement of colors. Ironically, that's how life works. So for example, warmer colors on one side of the color wheel as opposed to cooler colors on the other side of the wheel complement each other. So red next to blue is complementive. Orange next to yellow is not necessarily complementive. It's more of just a sort of derivative in a way. Whereas, you have something like green on one side and purple on the other, and you get this really complementive sort of effect, as opposed to something like pink and red is kind of more similar. So knowing color theory when it comes to tattooing, yeah, if you're any sort of tattooer that works with color at all, understanding it is very useful because you need to understand why you're using a color. Like, what's the purpose of it? You can utilize it to your advantage. For example, in this room right now, this light coming from this area shining on the side of my face is a white light. This light coming from this side, which I will kind of demonstrate a little more dramatically for the effect, is actually a very warm light. So you see this sort of red, warmish hue coming from it. That way I can get a nice dynamic sort of contrast in this image. So it's not just all flat lighting, and understanding that color use is very useful in many things, much less tattooing. So it's very, very important. And most people don't know much about it at all, and it actually limits them terribly. Let's see. Okay, next question is, show us the brake disc lamps, or did you make... Oh, wait, I'm screwing it up. Sorry. It's for some reason not let me read the whole thing. Show us the brake disc lamps. So they're not lamps. They're mic stands. Like I said earlier, that was a question I already answered. But I was posting it on Instagram that I was getting crafty and making some shit. And I didn't show you guys. I will show you. I promise I will put them on Instagram. You're going to see them next week anyway. And you'll see the stands that I made. We'll be using them live. Which, since we're there, I'm going to give you guys a hint before we get to the last of the Q&A questions. I'm going to tell you guys the good news, the exciting news of episode 50. That's right, episode 50 next week. Okay, so next week I have a guest. I will tell you about the guest. I won't tell you his name because I do want it to be a bit of a surprise, but it is a he, and he is local, and his art is phenomenal. It's actually an artist I've looked up to for a long time. I still do. I see his work, and it just... it inspires me. And I don't say that loosely. You know, I don't just say it because someone's an artist. I say it because it's true. When I look at his stuff, it just makes me think like, man, I want to push and go further too with my craft, because he definitely does that. His work is fascinating, and he will be on the show next week. So we'll have a nice little co-host with us, a guest, actually, I should say. And your host, yours truly, Joshua Ray Farmer, will be doing more of an interview, less Q&A, more interview style next week. We'll do a Q&A for sure, but a lot of it will turn into, if you've seen the Greg Sumi episode, quite a few episodes back, it turned a lot into conversation, and it's always fun for me because we'll get some of his audience, some of my audience to all come together. You guys are going to see an amazing artist. He's a rad dude. I don't know him super personally, which is exciting because he's agreed to be on the, he's excited to be on the show. And this way we can do an authentic interview, just a conversation between two artists, and show some of his work, and also use the new set for the first time. So that's going to be really cool. So you guys should see it. Next week is episode 50. We're going to celebrate a little. We're going to have some fun. We're going to do the Q&A, but we're also going to have a guest on the show, and he's an incredible artist. You guys aren't going to want to miss it. I'm really excited to introduce him. So guys, stay tuned for that. And yeah, we'll keep you updated throughout the week. All right. Also, Brody's on here saying Happy Mother's Day to all you lucky mamas. Okay. Makes me look younger. Mom says some lighting makes me look younger. You're right. It's why I've chose this light, because it makes me look younger. Christy says, I think cigar ashtray would be sexy too. You think a cigar ashtray would be sexy? Interesting. So I just use that lighting mostly. Mom said some lighting makes her look younger, so she just uses that lighting mostly. Very smart. Why fuck up something that works well? I guess I'm missing out on some of these. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up. Sorry, guys. There's some of these responses. I guess it's betwixt the multiples of you. Okay, let's get to the next question. Mom teaches to love. Dad teaches to survive. Made me think of you. So that's a statement, but it could be a question. Do we think that's true? So somebody's sharing a statement they heard saying, Mom teaches to love, Dad teaches to survive. I think to some level I would see how that's absolutely plausible. It sounds very oversimplified, which I like. Things like that, they're very useful when they're simple. Mom teaches to love, Dad teaches to survive. I think that's probably to some level true, but I would also say I think mothers raise children and fathers raise adults. Mothers raise children so that dads could raise men. I think mothers raise women and fathers raise sons. There's oversimplifications you could put in many different ways, but I think it's a mother's job to keep the kids alive and safe and well and bring them into this beautiful world and prepare them for reality, not what they want it to be, what it actually is. And then it's a dad's job to seal the deal. And the two together do a much better job than the two apart, especially with one absent. It's a terrible way to do it. So, yeah, mom teaches to love, dad teaches to survive. I can get with it. Okay. Let's see. For spicy Mexican mothers. You guys are getting it. That's awesome. Natalie says, Dad can also teach young men how to love a woman. Yes, it's complex for sure. But I do think that it's a mother's, in an oversimplified way, it's a mother's job to bring kids into the world, make sure they're safe, loved, and cared for at the beginning, make sure that they are then strong enough for dad to eventually take over. In my estimation, would be somewhere probably after 3-4 years old, somewhere around that range, for dad to start intervening more and taking those children and showing them maybe a couple of things that are a little more, I'd say, dangerous and risky, but calculated. And that's why mom steps in and sometimes says, hey, that's a little too risky and dangerous. So I think it takes both, and it's a very good thing to have both. Diana, I think you're on here. So you're asking a question. I'm throwing you under the bus. But you're saying, I want you to touch on the social media topic you mentioned yesterday. I apologize for not knowing what topic that was. If you would like to jump in, if you're still on here, I would love your explanation. To touch on the social media topic you mentioned yesterday. I'm not sure what that was. I apologize. Let's see. Debra says, "What's a dad's role for young women?" This is a loaded question. A lot of things. A dad's role is many things. One is to be there so that he can make babies. That's his number one role, is to make babies. And then the next one would be to be able to provide and protect for them. That's his number one role. So that's pretty simple. What's a dad's role for young women? To provide for them and protect them. Protect their femininity, protect their womanhood, protect their softness, their delicateness, delicate nature, not delicacy. I would say that would be pretty simple, basic way to answer that. Mom says, next week, see you all then. Enjoy Mother's Day with your sweet family. Love you, Joshua. Good night. I love you, Mother. Good night. Love you tremendously. Sleep well. Thanks for being on here. It's been fun. It's been real. It's always awesome when Mom's here. It makes my night. Like I say all the time, even if it was just me and you, Mama, I'd still be doing this. This is great. It's awesome to see you on here, and it's cool to see everybody respectfully respond to you and appreciate you as well. So happy Mother's Day soon to come. I love you, Mom, and have a good night. Alyssa says, I raise my daughters on my own, so I do both, raising two sassy, strong little ladies. She says, I raise my daughters on my own, so I do both. I'm not really sure what I'm raising my daughters doing both. I'm not sure what you mean by both. Raising two sassy, strong little ladies. Dame Bria says, I was raised as a tomboy, so I see a lot of sides. Yeah, again, I'm getting in the weeds a little because I'm getting a little off of understanding what comments are coming from which statements. Jennifer is saying, I think a father shows a young woman how they should be treated by how he treats your mom and you as a woman. And I agree. I think you have to see examples. You have to see physically in real life, more than the words, you have to see the physical actions of how things work out and how things work in general. And if you don't have that example, it's very difficult to navigate. So it's very, very important. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Next question. Again, Diana, if you're on here and you want to explain what social media topic you wanted me to explain from yesterday, I will, but I unfortunately don't know what you were talking about. Here's a good one. Well, they're all good ones. How do you recoup when you're not feeling it? When you're usually F it instead of F it up. How do you recoup when you're not feeling it? When you're usually fuck it instead of fuck it up. How do you recoup when you're not feeling it? Recoup when you're not feeling it. Well, how do you recoup when you're not feeling it? Who cares if feelings are emotions, right? That's what we were talking about earlier. If you're not feeling it, who cares? Just keep doing. Keep doing. You should have look, I live my day with a schedule and with an intention. So I don't know how everybody else is doing it. A lot of people are doing it that way too, and rightfully so. You don't have to recoup when you're not feeling something. If you already have a schedule and stick to it, then who gives a fuck how you feel? You just do your job. If you have a family, you have duties. If you're, if you have something in your schedule that's important to you, like going to the gym is important, family time's important, downtime's important. Your rituals and things that you do regularly are important to keep you on that path. Reading, all these things that are important should be set aside, time for. So how do I recoup when I'm not feeling it? I don't know that I have, maybe I'm just not thinking of it, but that just doesn't register to me. If I'm not feeling it, it doesn't really matter. Now, to be more specific, if I don't have the energy, if I have a lot to do and I don't have the energy to do it, how do I recoup? I take care of my health as best I can. And sometimes I just have to say, look, I just don't have the time for this right now. And I don't have the energy. I don't have the fortitude. It's very rare, but I mean, I have limitations. So sometimes it happens where you just have to sign off and say, look, this work has to be done for tomorrow. And that's a good day. A good day is when you've done everything you could and still have some left for tomorrow, and you recoup by sleeping. Okay. So how do you recoup when you're not feeling it? Sleep. I don't know. That's my answer. When you're usually fuck it instead of fuck it up. It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't really happen. I don't live my life thinking that way. Sleep is when you recoup. Next one is, and this is actually the last one. So if you guys have questions on here, shoot them my way. Danbury said, I had a bad day the other day, and I just think about how grateful I am to live in the moment at this time. True. So if you live your life pretty true to yourself, and you have a good regimen, and you have a schedule, and you have a routine, and you have things to look forward to, and purpose and mission in life, and a family and duties, it really doesn't matter how you feel. You just fucking keep going. Okay. Ian says, I find accountability is my answer. When I'm not feeling it, I set an alarm. The alarm goes off. It's time to be accountable. Let's see here. Danbury says, I wish I could read more. I don't. My free time goes to painting. You're in control of your time, so stop wishing and start doing. If you wish something, then make it happen. If you say, I don't, my free time goes to painting, well, then you decide painting is more important than reading. So why wish that you could read more? It's like wishing there's more time in the day. There never will be. 24 hours is all I get. Jennifer said, dance or sing it out. That's cool. Like frustration maybe or something, or irritation, or sleepiness. I'm not sure. But dance or sing it out could be an option. I don't dance often, but when I do. Okay, so this is the last question, guys. So let's see here. We are at 1 hour and 15 minutes. We can get super Dr. Philly. We can get fun. We can get weird. We can get spicy. We can get whatever you guys want. But if you want, you're going to have to keep it alive here in the comments, because we have one more question left. And I got half a soda left and a stubby fucking cigar that's almost out. Okay. We're on here on Instagram again, and it's a question. Oh, no, it's not. See, we're not even ending with a question. This is a statement. Seriously, I love listening to you and the things your mind has made up. Inspiring, no doubt. But, and that's it. But, that's the end of it. Seriously, I love listening to you and the things your mind has made up. Inspiring, no doubt. Maybe the but was on accident. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys joining me. I appreciate you guys engaging with me. I think it's been really rich for me to be able to experience this with so many people. And I hope the same to you guys, which is why you keep coming back. And, it's awesome. Jennifer says, sometimes going out in nature to recenter helps too. Always going out in nature to recenter is helpful. That's always good. That's always wonderful. Especially when you really need it. That's a good go-to. The sun is like a battery for you, so you should get out into it. Desiree said, well said. Curious about personal perspective. Danbury says, okay, well, painting over reading it is. Yeah, we all have to choose what we get done. We don't have any more or less hours than anybody else. Maybe more or less energy, focus, and skills maybe, but we don't have more time. So it's usually not time that's the issue. Daber says, I got questions, but maybe next week. Shoot one. Do it. Don't be scared. You're on here. Let's go. Otherwise, I'm going to bring up a topic. We'll see if you guys want to roll with it for a little while. We got Casey on here. Thanks for joining us, Casey. Yeah, I don't know how much you've missed or if you just jumped on, but what's up? Oh, you just said you missed the show. Well, we're still here. So if you have any questions, shoot them our way. Me and Casey actually just had a very interesting conversation for quite some time the other day. And yeah, it was quite interesting. So hopefully you're okay, Casey. But thanks for being on here. Kimmy says, unless you get your feet dirty, and that's a no-go. It's a wonderful thing to have your feet dirty and planted in good old Mother Earth that gave us life. It's a beautiful thing. Okay, let's roll. All right. So if you guys have any questions, here we go. This is a concept I've been thinking about, talking about, and pondering, I guess you will say, a lot lately. I was just talking to quite a few people. Maybe some of you guys are on here, so let's go. This is a question, or not. I can't really form it in a question. I'm going to give you guys a metaphor, and let's converse about it. So, I was just talking about this the last few days, that your phone, for example, your phone is set up to receive signals. Your phone is an antenna. Your phone receives signals in the form of Bluetooth, devices that respond to it in that frequency. It responds to things in the form of Wi-Fi or an internet connection. and it responds to things in cellular data or data and internet connection in the form of phone calls and some other things too, GPS and other antennas built in, if you will. This thing receives signals, okay? I'm using this as a metaphor right now. Although that's literal, I want you to think of it as a metaphor to who you are as a person. Your phone receives signals. My question is, where do these signals come from? Are signals to your phone, the internet, and your Wi-Fi and your Bluetooth coming from one direction? Are they just in the room, and then when you have the right thing to pick up the signal, the right antenna, then the information's then there. The information, the experience, the data, the end result can be had. The information is all around, right? There's not, the Wi-Fi is not coming from over here and Bluetooth's coming from over here. Just because you have a device here, it's a Bluetooth, and your phone here, Bluetooth. It's not just sending a direct signal. It's sending out a signal, right? Some signals are stronger than others. Bluetooth doesn't go as far as Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi doesn't go as far as satellite. Satellite doesn't go as far as, say, something, for example, like radiation or light. So information travels in many different ways. It has its limitations. But when you think of it as a metaphor, your phone is an antenna to receive information, right? Lots of information is available, but your phone isn't here to pick up all of it. It can't pick up infrared, it doesn't pick up microwaves, it doesn't pick up, it doesn't pick up TV signals, right? It's not a TV. So it picks up the signals in which it's built and designed for. As a human, you are an antenna. So this is where the conversation starts. What is available to you as a human if you're an antenna in this universe? Do you have limitations on things you can experience, feel, or know? And if you are an antenna and all the information is just permeating out in the universe all the time, always, what is it you're missing out on that's coming in, but you're not receiving? And what do we do about it? It's a very interesting perspective, and I would love to sort of converse about it on here, although it's complex and we're doing it through text. Let's see what we can do. Okay, let's do this. So you guys can give me some input and we'll respond to it. If you have questions, my question is, if we're antennas, what do we do about it? Let's see. Bring it on, Josh. Lenore says, bring it on, Josh. Chrissy says, let's roll, and I am fucking down. Let's see here. Damien says, oh man, people told me I'd start painting on canvas, but I'm true to my rocks. Your rocks are awesome. It's really cool. Casey said, you really put things in perspective for me, and I'm really running with it. Thanks, Josh. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you for having those conversations with me. It was cool. Okay, let's see here. Absolutely lately things. Just my phone. Okay, Dave, you're saying absolutely, and lately I've been things I'm kind of addicted to my phone. And lately I've been thinking, lately I've been thinking I'm addicted to my phone. That's no doubt. Everybody probably has a phone addiction to some level. If you ever picked up your phone just because you were trained to, but you didn't actually need to, then you're probably addicted. Ian saying mic is gone. Mic is gone. My mic is gone. Volume is out. Bad sound. Low. Let's see what's going on here. I don't see how that's possible. I don't know how long it's been going. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. That's weird. Mic check. I'm guessing that's better. Hopefully the microphone is just fine. Let's see. Oh, you know what? That's weird. How did I do that? There we go. I hit ooh, my bad. I hit a button that changed the decibel level. It's funny talking about signals, and I'm over here fucking up my signals. I hit this minus 20 dB decibel level, went down, so I fixed it. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Natalie's saying, open your minds and pay attention to your God-given intuition. Open your minds. I'm not positive. I'm not always positive, too, that it's the mind as well as it is. I think sometimes the mind's in the way, too. Thinking is the new addiction. Thinking and overstimulation is the new addiction. It's the new block to the path of the signals that we could possibly we are receiving, but could possibly access if we became such antennas. I'll get into it and I'll share you guys with what I feel about it too, but I would love to kind of understand where you guys are at in relationship to this idea. Now it says, and fucking act on that intuition. Don't ignore it. Agree, move, take action, be concise, be deliberate, be intentional. Let's see here. Christy, interesting. You always say interesting things. It's hard to understand, but you said, so I work at home and no one watches me. I can me Insta all day, but not completely. Open it, watch zone. Yeah, sorry. I try sometimes. I apologize. I can't exactly understand what you're saying. Rochelle says, yes, Natalie, I think of it of us as energy points, just as pyramids throughout the earth. And Natalie also says, open your heart. That's awesome. We are antennas to receive information, whether it's light to your eyes, sound to your ears. All they are is wavelengths. Light is photons hitting the the neurons, the receptors in your eyes to decode information. That's all it is. That's all sight is. And the picture's happening in your mind. You're receiving information all the time. You're receiving sound, you're receiving temperature, touch, pressure, taste, all kinds of information is coming in. Those are just for your, I would say, those are your the way in which you navigate the physical world. But I think that there's also another layer to it. I'm not going to say supernatural necessarily, but I would say that there's all kinds of signals coming in, and this is where I come in and share with you guys how I feel about this metaphor. There's all kinds of information always available to you all the time, everywhere, all the time, and everybody thinks you have to go get something. It'd be like if you have a phone and you don't have a good Wi-Fi signal, so you have to get closer to the Wi-Fi signal to receive it. That's a lot of times, I think, how we should be living our lives, meaning we need to get closer to the source. Sometimes it's just uncovering our own ego so that we can get closer to the source so that we can receive information, experiences, knowledge, a lot of times just feelings or simply really whittles down to just having human experiences. People think they're missing out on love. They're missing out on being rich. They're missing out on being sophisticated. They're missing out on relationships, honesty, truth, God, spice, if you will. They think they're missing out on all these things. The truth is, it's all trying to bombard you at all times. It's always here, always will be. Love isn't in a place, not a direct signal coming to you like a laser beam. It's all around us all the time, always has been, always will be. All things are available to us. We just have to uncover ourselves so that we can access it. And one literal way of doing it is understanding that as a human being, you don't have to wait for something to happen for you to experience it. You can experience it now. For example, love. You don't have to fucking wait and go find it. You can be it. And when you are it and you just be it because it's available to you all the time, this is my experience with it, is then you get to then permeate it, and now you receive it back in return because great minds think alike. You are going to then be birds of a feather flocking together and find lots of people in the same category. You can also say in reverse that if you're not finding the things you want and you're not getting the results you want, it might be because you are not currently the thing you should be. And I think that's a limitation a lot of people keep instead of fix. Damer says, I find myself also just scrolling, but I know I can get more done if I just put down people's input and reactions, etc. Sorry, not following that. Yes, Desiree, that's the key. Open, aware, and available. So be an antenna. If you're an antenna to information, and I don't mean metaphorically, literally, there's information bombarding you all the time. If you think about the first time you remember somebody telling you something that stuck, like a quote or something you read, it probably isn't the first time you heard it, or the first time you remember hearing it is probably not the first time you heard it. You just weren't ready to hear it previously. Maybe because you weren't smart enough, maybe because you couldn't speak, maybe because you didn't understand the language, maybe it was in a different language. But the information was coming to you most likely previously as well. You just weren't ready to receive it. You weren't in a position, you didn't have the skills, and you weren't open enough to said information. I think that's happening to us more than we could possibly conceptualize. So the trick is to uncover yourself, to develop an ego growing up so that you could realize it's not it, let it go, open it up, and now access the same things you did when you were a child, your imagination, information. The kids ask intuitive questions because they're tapping into something, I think, without the ego involved. They're just tapping into what is always available to us. Let's see. Christy says, if you always feel like you miss out, get out there. There's a new thing called FOMO, fear of missing out. People think they're missing out on something, and I hate to tell you this, but go find all those things and realize it's not it. You're not missing anything. You've had it all along. You're here. You've won the fucking lottery. You're alive. That's it. So if you want love, you are already it. You've already won. If you want riches, you're already rich. If you want happiness, you already can. You are it. You are the receiving end of happiness. You are it. So just let it be instead of trying to always go and search for it as if it's some other place other than you. I know that gets really sort of satirical, but Natalie's saying, when I read my Bible, I get nudged to share certain things with certain people, directed prayers, etc. Something I did not experience until I sought out a personal relationship with God. I think that's wonderful. I think that's really great. Actually, I'm going to read that again. When I read my Bible, I get nudged to share certain things with certain people, directed prayers, etc. Something I didn't experience until I sought out a personal relationship with God. So I will say this about that. I actually just talked about this today with a friend that I was tattooing, and I was tattooing his wife, and he was there, and I was talking to him about this. That a lot of times we're looking for outcomes in life without taking the right steps to get it. So we want a certain outcome, but we're not willing to live the lifestyle to receive it. And I would say what you just said, Natalie, is probably one of the most key important things to understand, that if you want a good life, if you want it well-rounded, if you want it to be full of wisdom, life, love, and be the antenna to receive all of the riches of the universe that are flying to you all the time and available to you at all times, but we cover it up with our egos and our rules and our limitations. The best way to get past that, I believe, truly, is to get as close to your God as possible, as close to the Creator, as close to the thing that has made you, that communicates with you, that relationship you have. Everybody does. I heard it said before that everybody has a God-shaped hole in their hearts, and we have to fill it with something. Just be careful what you fill it with, because it might not be serving you. And instead of trying to find things to medicate it, a lot of times people do that. I think it's better just to fill it with truth and wisdom. And what you just said in that statement, I think, explains that perfectly. Okay. Dane Bear saying, so if two platonic people want to just connect, is that cheating? If two platonic people want to just connect, is that cheating? I would need way more context. Cheating what? I'm assuming you mean a relationship, like if two people are in a committed relationship and you want to connect with somebody else. I don't know. I don't know exactly what you mean. Natalie's saying, absolutely agree. We are being prepared for more. No doubt. We are absolutely. Information is always coming in. You just have to be the antenna to receive it. Rochelle, let's read this here. Some people don't even realize that they are limiting themselves by blaming the outside world for their shortcomings. Our life is a personal journey. We just happen to be pack animals. Yeah, you're right. And I do think truly that's exactly why the Bible exists, for exactly what you just said. Natalie says, sadly, I feel church was stifling my relationship with God. It wasn't until I opened my heart and walked away. Yeah, there's nothing in the Bible that says that church is where you find God. And there's nothing in the Bible that says that church is where you get closer to Jesus. And so far as I've seen, there's nothing that says that church is the answer. Matter of fact, I think Jesus has put it, and that in the New Testament, it very much says that Jesus was sent not to just be a sacrifice and an example. Jesus was like the prime example of the ideal in which we should live our lives like. But he also was to pay for our sins, right? So one of the ways to come to God is through Jesus, and he's given us that. He's given us that example. And anybody that knows me long enough, whether they think I'm religious or not, God-fearing or not, they've heard me talk about these things often. I've cited the Bible my whole life. I've always thought it to be very valuable. I don't think there's another source of information written in text that's more valuable. And you can get that without going to church. You can read the Bible there's thousands of different churches, thousands of different religions, and there always will be, and there will continue to grow. But that shouldn't change the relationship you have with this. Shelly Bear saying, what's up, brother? What's up, Shelly Bear? Thanks for being here. Now we got Rochelle and we got Shelly Bear, and they're each saying hi to each other. So what's up, guys? Thanks for being on here. Okay. So this antenna we talked about, maybe it's a little too deep to converse with amongst text. So I get it. So what happens is, you're the antenna, you're the antenna receiving information all the time. You're only limited by the limitations with not only which you accept, but that you've developed over time. We've all developed limitations, and it's our job to uncover them. And I really, truly don't know that there's any other better way or path or document or service to mankind than the texts that have been handed down through the ages, compiled together in something we call the Bible. I don't know of a better, wiser book. I just don't. And I don't know of a better concept to use. I don't think higher power suffices. In my opinion, it just doesn't. It's too vague. It's like being in a relationship and saying my significant other, my better half. No, it's either your wife or your fucking husband. I get you want to use the words, but I just don't like to dilute it. And I think higher power is one way of saying God, but I think God suffices a lot better because it doesn't necessarily leave an empty question of what do you mean, although you can get into that. I think higher power is like what? Higher power, like PG&E is more powerful than you. Higher power, like static electricity. I don't know, like a shooting star. What's a higher power? The universe, the cosmos all together? Why not skip it all and just go straight to God? No Town Vandal saying 4:30 comes fast. Good night, y'all. Thanks for being on here. We appreciate you. I'm not getting a lot of comments in the, I'm not getting a lot of questions. So we're just kind of rattling on at this point, which is totally fine with me. Okay. Denver says, well, I'm not going to comment on church. I've had a bad experience and I'll leave it at that. And there's good energy and bad energy, period. Yeah. Church is no savior. It's no end all be all. Mankind is by no means, doesn't matter where you go, you're going to find good and bad. Doesn't matter what group, like there's no just this group is good and that group's bad. There's good and bad in just about all things. Some are worse than others in total. But yeah, there's like people say, oh, church is, you can't find God without a church. Well, God's original church, God's OG church is his creation. So we're always connected to that. So we're not missing out there. That's for sure. Okay. So guys, if there's anything else you want to ask, there's 20 of us on here right now. We're shooting the shit live. We've answered all the questions, which is actually pretty remarkable. I don't always get to do that. Yeah. So, if you guys have anything to ask, if you want any input, great. If not, talk amongst yourself for a few before we jump off here. Ian saying he's watching at the gym. That's awesome. Let's see. Okay. So next week, I've mentioned it to you guys already that, I will be using the new set, which is right in front of me. You guys will see that next week, and I'll have a guest on. It'll be really exciting. I would love to see your guys' support there next week. Show up, enjoy it. I don't know how long the show will be, but at least shoot for a good hour. It's going to be a little bit of Q&A again. It's going to be the interview. I'm going to have an amazing artist. His work is literally phenomenal. Like, I look up to it greatly, so I'm excited to show that to you. And then also get the story behind it, like who he is, where, what's his background. It'll be fascinating, actually, really for me to really understand who this guy is, because I don't know him that well. I just know enough of him to have a high level of respect for him. So it'll be fun to introduce him to you guys next week. And that'll be our 50th show. So I'm really excited about using the new set, having a new guest on, and introducing you guys you guys and girls to a phenomenal artist. Okay, let's see here. Natalie says, I'm not bashing church at all. I was very involved for many years, and some people need that group environment, just not for me. Lenore says, do you go to she meant cigar parties? No, I don't go to parties. Definitely not cigar parties. It sounds, I hate to say it, but it sounds really dorky. A bunch of dudes who get together talking about cigars. No, thank you. If it's not business or money or women, not interested. You can have a cigar while doing that, but not a cigar party itself. Not going to happen. Tori Wilson's on here saying, just have to say I look forward to these every Wednesday. Fight night of the week. My son goes to his dad, so I get to sit and relax and listen. That's awesome. Thank you for being on here. I appreciate you. You guys are funny. Night stream family. See you in episode 50. Ian, thanks for being on here. Appreciate you. Have a good night. Yeah, we'll see you soon. So I'm going to mention something that Natalie touched on. She says she's not bashing church at all. She was involved for many years, but some people need that in group environment. If you guys can, think about this, or even comment if you like. Other than religion or church, you can say, other than that, There's only one thing I can think of. I won't tell you what it is. See if you guys can guess, or if you have other input. What has built a bigger sense of community than religion or church? Or you could say God. I don't think anything has built a bigger, stronger community, in my opinion, hands down, than God-fearing people, especially God-fearing men. God-fearing men have made such a significant impact on, and you can have your opinions about the impacts, but no doubt has made the biggest impact this planet has ever seen. I don't think any other thing. People think women and money. No, not at all. I think the biggest impact ever made in terms of building community and society and countries, for that matter, has been God-fearing men. And I think that nothing builds more community than that specifically. And community is so important. That's one of the things we're missing a lot in today's modern world. So I would like to know what you guys think about that. What other than God and that healthy love and relationship that people can have with God, what builds more community? What bigger community do you know of? Where else builds that brotherhood, that sisterhood, that family, that community, that oneness? What else can you think of that builds that you are aware of? I have an opinion about one other thing that rivals it, but it definitely does not beat it, but it definitely can stand up next to it to some level. But other than that, what builds it? I think that's an important question to ask, because people bash it all the time and they just don't understand, unfortunately, what they're bashing. That's the sad truth. Lenore says, people know that Wednesdays I come to see you, so no one calls or texts me. That's awesome. That's cool. I appreciate you being on here, Lenore. Melissa says, this was my first time being able to catch this. I enjoyed relaxing with my whiskey and listening. We'll be tuning in regularly. Thank you. Good night. Melissa, thank you for being on here. We appreciate you, and we look forward to seeing you on here again. Denver is saying families. Also, what you are raised by is what you believe in. Families. So if you're saying that that's built more community, that's not true. Families can tear each other apart. It can be very tribal if it's families holding people together. I'm talking about at large. I mean, your family might be really strong and that's great, but it holds communities together. It's definitely not families. It's definitely not the what am I thinking? The hillbillies, the Hatchfields or whatever, and the McCoys. That's definitely not. It's definitely not that. So I'm not saying you're wrong about building, strength and community within a family, but other than family, other than religion or God, what else builds that? What else gives us a large community that you could build, a community from, a society from, or even a country from? What else gives us that? Casey saying, have a good night. Thanks for being on here, Casey. Hope you have a good night. Natalie says, God-fearing men have so much more power than they realize because of the godless society trying to beat them down. There'll always be a society of godless people trying to beat down God-fearing men, and it never prevails. Sometimes they make a bigger dent, just enough for it to wake up these men, but it definitely has. It's always going to be a fight, no matter what, for both ends. Brody Jade is saying brotherhood ? A group of strong men. Okay, but not really, because a group of strong men could destroy each other. So, although you're alluding to it, what else? What else gives that sense of community, if not God or religion? Damber said, God and universe is a very close high power. Well, God made the universe, so you would be very right. Shelly Bear's on here saying, good night, everyone. Good night, Josh. Love you, brother. I love you, Shelly. Come join us with me and have a cigar soon. Matter of fact, you should come next Wednesday. I invite you now, but it'd be cool if you were here. It's going to be a really great episode. Landy says 50th. Can't wait. Shelly should show up because the 50th is going to be awesome. Let's see. Daber says like-mind is a good building ability. Like-minded people, maybe. Yeah, but what gives people a like-mindedness? They don't just come together because they have, what's the commonality? What brings people together? What builds that community? And Lenore's asking for some input. She says, I'm getting close to my 50th. Should I make a party to celebrate at all that I've been through and survived it? Yeah, of course you celebrate your life. You don't need anybody else's permission, that's for sure. But we all support you in that. That's wonderful. You're here and you're living, and life is an absolute opportunity and a blessing. So you're here and you're being blessed. So you should celebrate that. It's wonderful. No, God. Okay. Lenore said, or should I up and go travel, not God, or, I don't know. Brody J saying, a strong foundation, a solid foundation. That's what I was thinking. Shelly on the 5th. Yes, Rochelle. Sheldon should come on the 5th. Brody J, to what you're saying, a strong foundation, a solid foundation. Other than God, other than religion, other than a commonality rooted in a God-fearing society, the only other thing that builds such community, in my opinion, in my experience in life, is military. You could even say that that's country, or you could say that that's tribalism, or that's nationalism or something if you want. But I think the military is the closest thing I've seen to a large enough brotherhood that at least holds weight next to something like religion. And interesting, if you find out they all come from different backgrounds, very similar to religion in the sense that they do have a religion to fight and to protect and to, to become a warrior. And I think that besides military, nothing else rivals it. I think those two things are the only place I've ever really seen a brotherhood that's congruent, that's long lasting, that's lifetime, and women can be part of this too, of course. I mean, it's not excluding anybody. I think military and God, I think those are the only two things. And I would say that then being a God-fearing warrior is probably the highest level in a sense, other than father. So anyway, I'm getting off into the weeds a little. Natalie says, I'd bring tacos to the 50th episode if I knew where the Bat Cave was. Well, don't we have a winner?
That's what she said.
What else do I have on here? I should have something. There we go.
Ding, ding, ding! What do we have for her, Johnny?
Gotcha. Danbury, good night. Thanks for being on here. Appreciate you. See you next week. Natalie says, yes, I love our military. And I think that's it. I think those two things are it, to be honest with you. Lenore says, Batcave is not a secret. Just look it up. Follow the bat signal. Yeah, good luck. The bat signal doesn't give away the Batcave. It just calls upon Batman. Yes. So anyway, guys, that's my premise, is that nothing builds more community than God. God-fearing men are the ones who build the foundation for it, so that women and children could live within it. And the Western world is no doubt, whether you call it America or not, is no doubt built upon the foundation of faithful, God-fearing men. Not completely, but to a large degree. It's always been part of society, and it's always been part of strength. And then becoming a warrior, or being part of the military, or at least being a strong person who can fight, defend, and provide, has been, I think, the thing that builds the most community. And I think it's largely missed today. I'll say this because I'm speaking, so far as I can tell, if Ian left, I'm speaking mostly to women. And I will tell you this, as a man, it's very difficult to find other men, and maybe you can relate in your own way, but it's very difficult for me as a man to find other men in which I can confide in and trust and look up to and admire. It's very difficult. It is not like it's just overwhelming everywhere. But there are plenty of men that I can look at and respect because they're hardworking. They're diligent. They have no quit in them. They just keep fucking going and keep chipping away and doing work that most people don't want, especially women. And they're honorable in that way. But when it comes to a true community where I can trust that the people aren't alcoholics, they're not drug addicts, they're not losers, they're not poor, they're not lazy, they're not out of shape, they're not mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically unfit. There's working on all those things to make them as strong as they can be. Doesn't mean they have to be fucking superhuman, but it's very hard to find a community of men. I've always found it hard to find that community of men that I can look up to and confide in and trust. And I will tell you this, that the closer I get to God, if you will, the more in tune I get to that signal, the more the antenna I become and uncover myself to become that signal to receive that message. I can tell you right now, the community I've been looking for forever, the men that I've been looking for that I can look up to, they've all been God-fearing men. And that is a loud lightning bolt to my heart that says, hey, pay attention, wake up, look at what's going on here. I do not look up to atheistic, nihilistic, sadistic men. I don't look up to people who are terrible or treacherous or that don't give credit where credit's due. I look up to men typically, and I didn't do this consciously. This is what I've analyzed, even look back in my past. that look up to men who are God-fearing men. That says a lot about, well, it illustrates a lot about the loud signal that's crashing into my heart that says this is where that community exists. It doesn't exist outside of it. It doesn't exist outside of these God-fearing people. And that's what I think the foundation of all great things are built upon. And I just think it's harder to find than people think. And I think it only exists in one place. And it's in these types of people. So anyway, that's just something I want to share with you guys, because I don't think everybody realizes if you want to be a successful person in life, not successful in one metric, but in life in general, it's very difficult to find this group. But they exist, and they're being hidden from the known world. It's being hidden. It's being pushed aside. They're giving you alternatives. They're distracting you. They're making you think that you could, you find this level of successful men in life that are doing well in like some other place that you could go to the bars, you can go to the clubs, you could go to YouTube. I'm telling you right now, if it's not God-fearing men, then it's nowhere. That is the answer. And they're trying to keep that from us because it makes us weaker if we can be separated. And I don't know if that all made sense, but I wanted to share that with you guys. Okay, I'm going to get to some of these comments. You guys are getting in here, and I appreciate it. Diana says, gosh, I love that we have been on later than normal with you, Josh. Super chill, very intelligent combos. Thank you. Thank you, Diana. I mean it. I love the love that I see amongst you guys, too. It's really cool. Let's see. Damer says, no, I'm out of shape because I choose to, and I love my lazy life, LOL, but love you all. Good night. Not exactly sure what that means. Let's see. Amen. Lenore, thank you. Appreciate that. Natalie says, that's wonderful, Joshua. And also Damer is saying amen. So I hope you guys understand that. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart, because I don't think a lot of people understand, especially if you have a desire to be successful in life. And when I say successful, I don't just mean rich, although that's part of it. I want to have the ability to provide for my family and earn and make an impact and a dent in the universe to some level, to how I see fit. I think it's very important for me to understand, and maybe useful for you guys out there to listen to, that even someone like me who has a lot in my life going for me. I have a wonderful family. I have incredible children. I have wonderful sisters, an amazing set of parents. I have great health. I have an awesome business, wonderful people that work in my studio with me, surrounded by incredible talent, tons of love, and you guys being on here is proof of it. Tons of support and encouragement. I have a ton of it. I am that antenna receiving these signals. And even amongst it, I still need other people to look up to. Although my father has done a damn good job about being that beacon of light I can model after, I still don't want it to end there. I'd like to push further. And I will tell you right now, if you're looking to men to be that beacon, only men, then you're going to be let down. So my job is to understand that I have to look further than that. I have to look to these men, and what is it that they look to? What is it that they use as their beacon? What makes me admire them? And all of them, every single one of them admires God. Every single one of them has a personal relationship with God. I think that has been one of the most profound things that I've experienced as a grown man, and finding that level of community that I'm looking for to help me. I know when you have 5 dudes around talking about business and money, success, or health, it is way different conversation than what I could do right here. It's a completely different conversation that I could have surrounded by 4 other women, or the artists and ladies that work in my shop. Is a far different conversation. And for someone like me, I desire that conversation. I desire that energy, because then all of a sudden we're doing things, we're making moves, we're building together, and it's a real, true taking action kind of environment. I'm gonna tell you right now, I've tried my whole life, and I've tried to even make it myself. I actually was ignorant enough to try to make this group myself, thinking I could do it outside of something like God or the idea of God-fearing men, and it always failed. And I've tried for years, and anybody that knows me actually really deeply knows that I've literally done this. And I was let down over and over because I was trying to do it my way. And I can tell you right now, it didn't work. And what does work is when you find this group of men and you start to realize the commonality is that they do have this healthy fear of God, and they have this personal relationship with him. It's pretty fucking phenomenal. And those are the men to look up to. And those are the men that build good, healthy societies and families and countries and communities. And the answer will never be any different. That will always be true. So I'm very blessed and thankful that I have that. But I would think that it's probably something hard for most people to see that it's actually a struggle to try to look for. You probably shouldn't look for it anywhere else. It's not going to exist. You know, we always have the Chevy guys and the Harley guys and the crotch rocket guys and the, you know, the party guys and the frat guys. They always have these small groups, but I'm talking about massive community. This is the only place you're going to find it. So I wanted to mention that. Maybe some people aren't aware of that. Maybe they are. Maybe I'm late to the game. I don't know. Okay. Rochelle's saying we are blessed, and I agree. 100% we are. No fucking doubt. This sounds like a joke, but I don't mean it to be. Jennifer's jumping off. Good night. Jennifer, thank you for being on here. Appreciate you. Yes. Get that. Good night, Jennifer. So you guys, it's been almost 2 hours, and it's well into the night. I appreciate you. You know I do. I appreciate all of you. I hope that me rambling on sometimes is as valuable to you as it is to me, because I deeply look forward to doing this. This matters a lot to me. It's always been important. Like, you guys got to understand something. I'm sitting in a room by myself alone. Literally, there's nobody else in here. If I'm quiet, it's pretty quiet. Okay, there's nobody else here. I love having this conversation with you guys, and even though I know you're all out there somewhere in the ether, in real time, and sharing this with me, I really appreciate it. It helps me to articulate my thoughts better. It helps me to put in the repetitions of being a communicator. It helps me to understand people more. So you guys chiming in means a lot to me. I want you to know that this is something really special to me. And I appreciate it. No doubt. So that being said, I hope you guys continue to get something out of it. When you jump into the comments, asking questions is great. Having the love and affection amongst yourselves is great. Actually, I love seeing that. I always appreciate you guys jumping on to the questions and giving me your input. That's always cool. And I love the DMs of the support and the love that I get afterwards. I think you guys should know that actually exists. That's really wonderful. I'm not here to not offend people, but I'm also not here to offend people. But I am here to bring up maybe some topics and conversations that we don't get to hear about most of the time. We don't get to see the unfiltered stuff. Not that this is super extreme, but who knows where it'll go. And I appreciate my opportunity to be able to do it, and you guys in supporting me in doing so. So I really, really appreciate it. Diana is asking, no more co-hosts, ? Diana, nothing stays the same for very long. And maybe some things do stay the same for a while, but everything changes over time. And this is just a change I'm going through at the moment. I am not interested in having a female co-host anymore. I would really like it to either be me or female guests and male guests, but the co-host part of it is not something I'm interested in again. Lenore saying, we are here with you. I truly appreciate it. Dambria, good night. Thanks for being on here. Lenore says, I'm blessed to be part of this. And I agree, because so am I. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. I appreciate you. As always, get spicy in the comment sections. It's what keeps the show alive. Look forward to more in the future. Next week, number 50 is going to be amazing. You do not want to fucking miss it. To all of you that support me, much love. And I got to end it on the note of saying thank you, truly. And let's keep rocking and rolling. I hope you guys have a great Wednesday night. Yeah, that's it. I appreciate you. Thank you. Joshua A. Farmer, Artistic Freedom episode number 49. Almost 50. Next week's 50. Out, over, finished, finico, sayonara, hasta la vista, hasta luego. Good night.